Today is a much requested video where we compare a normal Taylor 814 CE, the flagship of the Taylor line, with our Alamo Music exclusive version of it so that you can find out what all the hubbub about this special guitar is. Stick around. Hey, you're watching Alamo Music TV. My name is Chris McKee.
And I'm Cooper Greenberg.
Yes, you are. We're here with Alamo Music Center in San Antonio, Texas. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, turn on notifications, like our videos. If you want to support us, buy stuff from us. Check out our podcast, the Fretboard Confessional, and our spring store link below for custom shirts. So what's the hubbub? What's the scuttlebutt? This is a special Alamo Music exclusive 814 CE.
And for some of you being like, I think I've seen this video, or they had to have done this before. We haven't, which is
We were
crazy.
surprised. We were like, wait, didn't we do that? But do you know why we didn't do it?
Because we didn't have any of these, because they sold out so fast.
We didn't have any of those. We didn't have any of these.
Those, yeah.
We did that exclusive when there were still a lot of, and there still are to an extent, but there were a lot of constraints and backlogs and, back-ordered guitars and issues getting things made. So, yeah, we have not had a good supply of regular 814 CEs, let alone our exclusive.
And
we've been waiting on this batch for 8 months?
Yeah, it got to be something like that. How many of these have we done so far? It's got to be 30 or 40.
I think about 30. Which
is crazy. And so we finally got our batch of these and 814 regular radius at the same exact time.
Doesn't that feel good? Just so you know, each time we do these, we kind of go in going like, I think this is really cool.
Yeah.
Is anybody else going to care?
Yeah.
So we love that you do. Thank you.
It happens.
Yeah, it allows us to keep doing this and having fun and building special guitars for you guys.
So we've done plenty of videos on the tried and true 814 CE, and we have done a lot with this. We've compared it to our other exclusive, the 914 CE, Chris McKee. So you've probably seen those.
Still waiting on those. By the way.
I can periodically link some of those demos throughout this. So if you see things popping up, check out those others because there's some fun stuff going on. But why don't you talk as a refresher about the big changes that you made for this guy?
Well, I think the 814 CE, which again, it's really the flagship. The 800 series has long been the flagship of Taylor's line, and the 814 CE has continued that tradition for Taylor. The 800 series goes all the way back to Taylor's like origins back in Santee and Lemon Grove, California, before they were in El Cajon and had a factory and everything. And a lot of the aesthetics of those guitars have been carried through. So I really liked this guitar. We wanted to make a few changes, and we wanted them to be subtle but meaningful. And so we took this tried and true combination. I loved a lot of the aesthetics, the binding and the pickguard and everything, but we wanted it to just kind of just push it a little further. So to do that, we started with a visual reference, which is the change of inlay. And this element inlay is inspired by the original 800 inlay, which is what that guitar has, which is called the progressive diamond inlay. And that's what graced the guitar on the 800 series literally for decades. I think it changed sometime in the early 2000s to kind of a flowery thing that was also kind of diamond progressive-y. And then when Andy Powers remodeled the guitar back in 2014, they went to this element, which again, you can see the inspiration there. And so the desire was, let's go back to that original 800 series inlay that has been synonymous with the guitar for decades. Let's let that be the visual cue to what's going on special on the guitar, and that is a change of the wood on the top, similar to what we did with the 900 series versions, where it has a Cindy inlay based upon my guitar and Engelmann spruce. On this one, we wanted to create more of a canon, more of a powerhouse of a guitar, so we switched from Sitka spruce on a standard 814 CE to Adirondack spruce. And it was surprising. You want to tell, like, out of the box, one of the big takeaways we had?
I mean, what? It's just an explosion of sound? Or?
Yeah, and compared to a lot of other guitars that have Adirondack tops that we've played in the past, they tend to be stiff.
Yeah.
You get them out of the case, and they tend to be kind of tight because that wood is very springy. It's very dynamic. It has a lot of headroom. It's the loudest top that you would typically use on an acoustic guitar, but it's a little tight as a result. And these were not like that.
Super dynamic and really pretty.
Right out of the case, yeah. So you could play soft and you could still get a lot of that dynamic range. It wasn't just laying into it and getting tons of volume. You could really get all this nuance.
Yeah.
And I've credited the V-class bracing with that probably being the case, just because I haven't played another Adirondack guitar that was new that had that much dynamic range to it. And so really that's the change. I mean, it's such a good platform to start from.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot that you really need to change. An 814 CE is fantastic. So if you're going to just, dial it up a bit, turn it to 11, what do? You go back to a vintage inlay and slap some Addy on it and call it macaroni.
Adironi.
Adironi.
No, yeah, it's very cool. It's wild holding these because, like you said, we've been out of them for such a long time. But it's really good to have them back. There have been so many people in the last year that have said, hey, when are you going to get those 814s back in? They're finally here. Of course, we got to hear Chris play them.
Yeah, I'm going to put them through their paces. I'll talk to you on the other side of kind of, I want you to hear first, and then I'll explain, I think, what's going on difference-wise. So check it out. Okay. Funny thing just happened. So, just to peel the curtain back, we typically record our demos. We come in, we talk about what the guitars are. We take a break. We usually switch guitars, or I take it away from Cooper if I have the opportunity. And then we talk to you about it on the other side. As we were doing that, you played on this before you handed it to me. This is the Adirondack version. And then you played on the 814 and smiled knowingly. What did you hear?
It's just, I mean, big tonal difference, which I'm sure came across in the demos as well. That's got all of the girth that you expect from the Adirondack, but still not stiff in any way. And this, of course, sounds great.
Yeah.
But it was almost like that one had the volume turned up a little bit and kept all the dynamics. Like it was.
It does.
Really
It's
well.
louder, but girth is a great sound for it because there's more bass.
Yeah.
The bracing is the same, but there's more bass on this guitar. It's an interesting experiment because we've talked in the past about tone woods, what you get when thank you, by the way, because I've gotten a lot of feedback from people in the community saying, hey, that Tonewood video was awesome, or the various discussions we've had. This is a great experiment in that because it's the same builder, it's the same model, and really from a sound standpoint, the inlay doesn't change the way the guitar sounds. It's just a change of the top, and to hear that distinct difference with Taylor's build practices being so consistent, the bracing being the same, you begin to understand better what's happening with the wood.
Yeah. It's super rare because there's a ton of videos out there like this is what a mahogany top sounds like, but oftentimes your mahogany top's going to have a mahogany back and sides, then you have your Adirondack that you're comparing it with, and that's got rosewood back and sides.
Right.
So it's really hard to just isolate the top and compare the sound. This is probably the one example that we have in the store right now and ever. There's the same exact guitar down to the same radius armrest and everything. Inlay's not going to change anything.
No.
Even between the 914 exclusive and the 814, there's some different changes with what's going on. No pick guard versus, it's like little things in the tuners that you could say, hey, that might be changing the sound a little bit. Exactly the same, except for the top. Nice little comparison that I think you can truly hear the difference.
I actually had a thought once. We might do this. I'm just going to throw this out there on the channel. This is free. I can say whatever I want. But I've actually thought about going to some of the builders like Martin and Taylor and ordering a number of guitars to be made that we're not going to sell, just to demonstrate everything's the same except for the top wood. And here's what cedar sounds like, and here's what Sitka sounds like, and here's what redwood sounds like, and here's what
D28 with a cedar top. D28 with.
Wouldn't that be cool? A D28 with a cedar top.
We'd sell the crap out of that.
That'd be cool.
Somebody would want that. Yeah.
So hopefully that came through on the video. It's a subtle difference, but when you're playing these guitars, it's there. Now, these are exclusive to Alamo Music. It's our design with Taylor, and it's wonderful that we have that relationship and can collab and kind of experiment with different stuff and bring you some very cool guitars. It's $400 more than a normal 814 CE, so it's kind of up to you to go, is that worth it? I personally think it is. The reason we did those 914 CEs that were are exclusive is because mine, which is 20 years old, I always found to be unique because of the top.
Yeah.
And everyone I played that was like that, I felt that matched the guitar better. And so I think subtle changes and decisions like this can really add up to big impact for you as the player. If you could be more dynamic on your instrument and have this girthy full sound, fantastic. If it's not, then the 814C, which is already, let's be honest, these are already expensive guitars.
Yeah.
That is such a fantastic starting point for us to make this with. It's a privilege. So.
Yeah, for sure. Not to mention, this guitar will age beautifully. Something to be said about the way Adirondack will age and change over time. And
yeah, you asked me this question last week. The question was, over time, how do they look different? Sitka tends to tan, kind of like get a brownish hue to it, and Addy tends to become more honey. Engelmann's like that too.
Well, I think you can see it with your 914.
Yeah, it's very kind of honey colored.
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
But it's both of these. I've talked a ton recently. We've done a lot of Martins, a lot of Taylors. Either of these will be a rest of your life heirloom guitar to pass on to generations. I think that's something to think about if you're getting into this league with good maintenance. It's going to last forever. So it's worth it to play both of them if you have the opportunity. Really decide which one's the one for you. because it's going to be around for quite a long time.
And that's why we did this video. A lot of people were asking or requesting from us, like, hey, I know you have both of these. Have you done a video yet? Because I want to hear the differences. So hopefully this was helpful to you. But if you want any more information about these, photography, whatever, you should go to...
You're going to want to go to alamomusic.com, all right? Because we got everything up there. Got some really cool, we got some tailors that we have not had for a long time.
Yeah.
Both of these included, but also just a bunch of really fun stuff has come in recently because we're getting more guitars, which is always good.
Which is nice, yeah, and finding them good homes. So check out our website, alamomusic.com, and remember, at the end of the day, the best guitar in the world is the one that you are playing. Let us help you find the right one to fit your needs. So if you're new to the channel, thanks for watching. Subscribe, turn on notifications, all that good stuff, and come back. We'll see you next time.